Big news this week as we prepare for a big week of new reveals and announcements with Summer Game Fest. I got the latest updates and way more gaming news to go over, so sit back and let's go. Let's start with some really sad news. The big Black Panther game has been cancelled. They announced the game and a new studio, Cliffhanger Games, in July 2023, but now 2 years later they already closed that studio and cancelled the project. And then seeing the leaked concept art makes this extra sad, like this was supposed to be a narrative-driven, third-person, single-player game, with Bloomberg sharing some extra details, namely that it would feature various playable heroes from the comic book universe, such as T'Challa, Killmonger and Shuri, all competing for the mantle of Black Panther. But the characters you would not pick to play would become rivals, and you could choose to make relationships with them, kind of like the Nemesis system from Shadow of War. Sounds pretty cool. And that's not weird, because this project was namely led by veterans from Monolith Productions behind Shadow of Mordor and Shadow of War. They left after their new IP they worked on after Shadow of War got cancelled by Warner Brothers, so they moved to EA. And now basically the same happened again. The reason was that EA was seemingly not happy with the progress. After 4 years they were still in pre-production, which means that it was likely still another 4 years away. So maybe this game was a bit too ambitious for a brand new studio that only just started scaling up. But yeah, it's still sad that we now this year of course also had the Wonder Woman cancellation and the closure of Monolith Productions. Like we might never see the Nemesis system again, with the developers behind Shadow of War now not having released anything in 7 years. EA noted that cancelling the game and closing the studio is to sharpen our focus and put our creative energies behind the most significant growth opportunities. And well, in the coming years they will be focusing on Battlefield, The Sims, Skate and Apex Legends next to the sport games. So yes, all multiplayer, even though they do still have an Iron Man game, the third Star Wars Jedi, and the next Mass Effect title, of course, in development. But yeah, this really sounds to me that after those are finished, they will likely not invest in more stuff like it, unless it's very lucrative for them. And they seem to believe that Marvel games can still be, even with Black Panther now cancelled, they still have a 3-year game deal with Marvel. So for 2 games after Iron Man, which could be just more Iron Man, as EA Motive, that's leading the development on that game, and seems to be leading this Marvel initiative. I will of course keep you posted here, but yeah, I still feel it's overall bad news, as it's really another big AAA publisher saying, yeah, we're not going to invest in single-player games as much moving forward. The Summer Game Fest partners have been revealed, so let's quickly go over the highlights. 2K is of course for both Borderlands 4 and Mafia that they're launching soon, although there are some rumblings that something bioshock is happening as well. Amazon Games could be finally for the new Tomb Raider game that is rumored to be open world, but they have more stuff, so it could be other things too. Bandai will have Little Nightmares 3, as the developer Supermassive Games is also on the list. The game is seemingly coming out on September 15th. Capcom is here, could be for a Street Fighter or Monster Hunter update, although everyone of course hopes that it's the new Resident Evil. CD Projekt Red already confirmed that it's just for the Switch 2 version of Cyberpunk. Embark is of course Arc Raiders, they might announce the release date or another beta. Funcom, of course, Dune Awakening that is launching soon. IO Interactive is interesting, they got the James Bond game coming, so with them being here, high chance that we see it. Montfish is the developer of Atomic Heart, maybe they have something new already. NeoWiz is here, so the Lies of P DLC will of course be at the show. Pearl Abyss means that yes, a new Crimson Desert trailer is likely coming, fingers crossed for a release date that is still this year as well. PlayStation is here, but it has already been confirmed that Kojima will be on stage during the show, so it could be for Death Stranding 2. Although, yeah, you would hope that something Ghost of Yotei shows up as well. Square Enix could have Kingdom Hearts 4, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth ended a Summer Game Fest show once, so maybe they do the same with the Kingdom Hearts 4 trailer. We see Techland, we already know that Dying Light The Beast will be there, hopefully with a release date, as it should still be coming out before the end of September. And yes, Xbox is of course on the list too. We'll go over what I expect from their showcase in a moment, and we got some other leaks of course, and other things to go over. So if you like these big Sunday videos, leave a like, that would really help me out, and subscribe, because we post one of them every Sunday. Now let's do some quick shots, news stories I will go over quickly. The Witcher 3 is namely getting cross-platform mod support later this year, which means that on PS5 and Xbox Series you can use mods for the game. Not everything is coming over, but most of it is. So things like being able to track the hidden events, so you can more easily track content you maybe have not completed. There are combat improvement mods. Like, if you tried any mods on PC, let me know if you got any recommendations in the comments down below. But this could also be good news potentially for The Witcher 4, that we will get cross-platform support for mods faster. They did switch to Unreal Engine 5 though, so curious to see how it all will work. I will of course keep you posted on any future Witcher news right here. Remember the Order 1886? I looked at gameplay again today and it's insanely good looking for a PS4 game that is now 10 years old, by the way. Well, we now learned that the sequel was set to feature multiplayer elements and large-scale battles before it was scrapped. Not sure if multiplayer would have been the right way to go. I would have preferred a longer single-player campaign, but turned out they already wanted to do multiplayer for the first game, but then saved it for the second game. But yeah, this first game felt like half the experience. It ended very abruptly after 6 hours. So I would have loved to see where it goes next, because again, the vibe, the aesthetic, it was all very cool. But according to the creative director who is now sharing this info, the low Metacritic made it so that Sony did not want to fund a sequel. And I get the low scores, because yeah, it was very cool, but just not fully realized. I do think a sequel could have been really amazing, but on the other hand, it would also have been a hard sell for anyone who spent the full price on the first game. Let me know if you would have loved and The Order 1891, which would have been the name, in the comments down below. So I of course already incorporate rumors in news stories, but we also have the dedicated Rumor Roundup segment every week, where I look at the biggest leaks of the week and give stars, with 3 being I believe it and 1 being let's take this with a huge grain of salt. I've seen some Assassin's Creed rumors, like that the plot for Assassin's Creed Hexe, the next mainline title, will be about the main character Elsa seeking revenge for her mother, who was executed as a witch during the witch trials. Look, I for one hope that they don't do another revenge story, because yeah, we've seen a lot of them recently. Overall though, I do not really think we should believe this rumor. I remember this account also posting leaks for Red before it was called Shadows, noting that there would be a gameplay showcase in July during Ubisoft Forward, but that was of course in June, and I don't think Ubisoft last minute changed their show from July to June. So 1 star, I don't think we should trust this. Let's just wait. We should get an official announcement for Hexe, I think, in May next year. Really looking forward to it. It should be a different type of Assassin's Creed game, so not an RPG or more old school title. Should be pretty horror themed, of course during the witch trials in Germany. Count me in. Let's hope that it's good. Xbox would do a first-party handheld as part of their next-gen plans, but now Windows Central reports that these plans have been sidelined in favor of the third-party Windows handhelds. So the successor to the Xbox Series X is still moving forward, with rumors indicating that it will launch in 2027, but that would first also include a dedicated Microsoft handheld, but now they're focusing more on the one that Asus is, for example, putting out, that already got leaked. Basically an upgraded ROG Ally, but with more of an Xbox integration. I think it makes sense for them to want to focus on those machines first, because in a way, with Game Pass and the Xbox app already pre-installed, you could argue that it's already kind of a Microsoft device in the first place. The only problem is that your Xbox library does not work on them yet, because it's a PC handheld. So I give 3 stars for this. Windows Central is known to have their sources, and we learned that SteamOS is currently destroying Windows 11. So it also makes sense that they want to improve that first before putting out their own device. And yes, the Switch 2 is of course launching this coming week. Bloomberg notes that Sony is also working on their own handheld again. So we're getting a full-on handheld renaissance, but for Xbox's own device, we will have to wait a little longer. The Xbox Showcase is already this coming week. Of course, every Sunday video we look at what's happening in the next 7 days. And I think this show on June 8th will be a really fun one. I hope we see updates on Fable and Perfect Dark, even though I have a feeling that one of those might be skipped because they're still far away, probably Perfect Dark. Gears of War E-Day will likely get gameplay, and it will be interesting to see if that is still planned for 2025, as the rumors suggest. Of course, we get more Ninja Gaiden 4, a Persona 4 remake is seemingly showing up here. Maybe Everwild, whatever happened to that. Of course, the next game from Rare, the Sea of Thieves makers. But also Contraband. Remember that co-op heist game they announced in 2020 from the Just Cause makers? Should be back this year. But if I could pick one thing though that I hope we see, it's the Blade game from the Dishonored and Deathloop makers Arcane Leon. I think that could be very, very cool, but of course more surprises are also more than welcome. On June 6th it's Jeff Keighley time. Expect a live reaction here and way more content on the React channel of course as well. We'll be live on Monday of course. A link to that stream in the video description. Hope you can join as we discuss the latest gaming news together. Subscribe, of course, to not miss the next Sunday video. A like would really help me out. And check out the video on Blades of Fire, a new action RPG with some very interesting ideas. You can watch it by clicking on the screen. I will speak to you soon. Goodbye.